All right. Today, let's start in either child's pose or laying on your back, whatever feels better for you. So wherever you are, notice if there's anything you can do in this moment to make yourself more comfortable. So you can start to tune in with the breath, closing the eyes. Yeah, you can also be in a seat if you want to be in a seat like me, but if it feels more comfortable to already start calming the body down a little bit more, we can come closer to the floor. And bring your awareness to your third eye, to your midbrain. So this is the chakra that we will be focusing on today, the Ajna chakra. So this is the command center. That's the translation, the command chakra. So I like to think of it as the place where you're viewing the rest of your experience. So all of our other chakras come into balance and actually line up so that we can focus on this chakra. And disclaimer, if I was doing a proper class on this, it would be mostly meditation and chanting, but I want us to move our bodies a little bit more here. So I want you to start calling to mind these values and ideas that we associate with the third chakra. It's the place of intelligence and intuition, our wisdom, being able to trust ourselves. Like I was just saying about the other chakras, it's the place of balance. So in our yogic philosophy, there are two channels of energy that run up and down the spine that are the masculine and feminine. And they actually are the channels that spin the chakras. So the chakras are wheels, and the interweaving masculine and feminine energy gets them turning. And then they come to meet right at the midbrain. So we'll go through a little bit of balancing for the rest of the body, the rest of the whole being, instead of just focusing on the brain. And I want you to call this intention into your practice today of just observing without judging. No matter what happens, really grounding yourself into that idea that you're just sitting in the command center, observing what is happening, welcoming in any of your experiences, may it be physical, emotional, spiritual, and having clarity through that observation. So if you're not on your back, let's all make our way to lay down on the back. So center yourself in your space. You can have your feet on the floor, knees up. And start by bringing your hands on your low belly. You can start to touch the front of the pelvis. And deepen your breath, breathing into your hands. As you slowly exhale, feel a contraction under the hands. Squeeze all of your air out. Start to engage the core. And as you come to that deep exhale, lift up the pelvic floor. Start to engage the first chakra. Keep going through that cycle, inhaling, releasing. Exhaling, pulling in. So just breathing, not really rocking the pelvis in any direction yet. First, just finding this stability, starting with the base. Soften the shoulders side to side, relax the jaw. See if the head can get a little heavier into the floor. And then maintain this position of the pelvis. So we're in a neutral pelvis. We're not curling or arching or tipping side to side. See if left and right can stay right where they are as you open the left knee out to the side. So just let the knee dip down. It's not going to touch the floor. And then it comes right back up. And then the other knee opens out to the side. Go really slow. Make it simpler. And notice what happens in the low core. So now kind of checking in with the second chakra or sacral area, this movement into the hips as we open out, but still find that stability in all of our abdominal structure. So when the left knee opens out to the side, you can imagine there's something softly holding down the right hip, and then the knee lifts up. It can be fun to think of like a little puppy or kitty sitting on your hip, and you don't want to wake it up. Gonna do one more time, left and right. Noticing how far you can open the knee without rocking the pelvis. And then bring both knees up to the sky. Now bring your hands up towards your third chakra. So right at the base of the ribs, towards your solar plexus. And you can let your hands slide a little bit here, bringing some more mobility instead of holding that structure of the core. Just let both knees fall to the left. Bring a twist into the spine, and then lift them up and windshield them to the other side. So just rocking back and forth, stretching open, and notice the space under the hands as your palms slide back and forth over the low ribs. Let that area be soft, still breathing into the belly. Can you reach the knees a little bit further away from you? So the knee on the top, when you dip the knees to the left, the right knee draws down and away. And then when they go to the right, the left knee reaches a little bit further. Even yourself off, left to right, and then bring the knees back to center. Now bring the hands behind the head. Soften the shoulders. Feel like the upper back can get a little bit wider on the mat. Breathe in with the spine down. As you exhale, curl the head, neck, and shoulders off the ground to a little crunch. Inhale. See if you can traction the neck further away as you lower the head back down. So again, simplifying this movement, keep the pelvis where it is. So we're just moving the upper body more around the heart chakra and the throat chakra as they close and open. Knitting the front ribs in and down, and then slowly lengthen the neck. See if that cervical spine can get a lot of space with the shoulders reaching down away from the ears. Map it with your breath so you don't have to go at the same speed as me. Lifting and lowering. Check that the elbows are wrapping up so that we can spread that upper back. But bring the effort from the core instead of just the arms lifting the head. So they're just there to add that extra hammock, that extra support to the head. Let's do one more, lifting up. See if you can lift a little bit higher, really get the scapula off of the ground. And then slowly lower. Good. You can keep the hands behind the head if you like and open the arms out to the side, like a little pillow under the head, or you can bring the hands down to the floor with the palms pressing into the earth. Lift the legs up. Just bring the feet up to the sky to start. Now we're gonna do a little swing here. So if you wanna watch me, you can first. This is a little bit different than what we normally do. So we're gonna cross one thigh over the other. So I'm bringing the left knee behind the right, and then I'm gonna swing them around, circling the other direction, tucking the knee behind. And just keep moving the legs back and forth, crossing them, and then uncrossing and going the other direction. So I wanna feel this in the core and bringing some more mobility into the hip. So we're kind of lubricating the hip joint. When the legs come together, squeeze them in so you're engaging the inner thighs. Notice how it feels in the hips. You can decide how fast you want to go here. So have the knees bent. You can go kind of fast if you want to start warming it up a little bit more. Go really slow to be curious and precise. Next time you have your left thigh on top, stay there. Squeeze the legs in a little bit more. Now, if you have your hands behind your head, remove them. Everyone bring your hand onto that front thigh, press into the thigh, and then press the legs back into the hand, squeezing in. Soften the shoulders, pull the abs down. Good, bring the hands behind the head. Keep squeezing, keep that engagement of the core. 3 little crunches, exhaling to lift. Soften the front ribs as you lift those shoulders up. Look towards the knees and lower. Exhale to lift. Keep squeezing the thighs into one another. Flex the feet. One more time, lifting up and lowering. Go to the opposite twist. So bring the right thigh on top. Squeeze the thighs into one another. Bring the hands onto that front thigh. Press the hands into the legs, legs into the hands. Pull belly down. Press, 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 keep pressing. Bring the hands behind the head, 3 little crunches. Inhale with the head down. Exhale, lift the upper body. See if you can keep the knees over the hips instead of just pulling them into the chest. Exhaling to lift. Softly lowering. One more time, lifting up. And lowering back down. Release the head, release the arms, untwist the legs, roll onto your side and come to a tabletop position. So we're checking in with those spirals. The spirals in the body can symbolize the spirals all the way up the spine and bringing that balance to the 3rd chakra. So coming with our hands under our shoulders, knees under hips. You can press the tops of the feet into the floor, really spread the fingers. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, arch the spine. Exhale, curl under. Move through your cat-cow. Take this kind of slowing down the breath. Maybe closing the eyes if you feel comfortable with that. Just observe how this feels in the body today, in this particular moment, even though this is something that we come back to often in our practice. If you come to yoga, how is this version of your body doing today? Each present moment is unique. Good. Come back to your neutral spine. Reach the top of your head away from your tailbone. And then reach your right arm out in front of you. Keep reaching the fingers up. Press into the left hand. Open the arm up to the sky. So we're making a big circle on the side plane, as if there was a wall next to us, till the hand can reach all the way back down to the hip. And circle around. Let's do that a couple more times. So reaching the arm up to the ceiling, turning the gaze to the right, and then reaching the hand down by the hip. 2 more times. Really expand out, reach through those fingers. Nice. Keep pulling the abs in to press away from gravity. And then when you finish that last circle, bring the hand down, and we'll switch to the other side. So extend the left fingers out in front of you, and then keep them reaching all the way to the ceiling. The chest can turn to the side. Drag the shoulder down as the fingers drag towards the hips. And then the gaze lowers back down as the hand comes through center and keeps going around, tracing this big circle. As you lift the fingers up to the sky, really energize down into the right arm so that the shoulders can pull away from one another. We got about 1 more circle here. When you finish that up, bring the left hand down next to its partner, come back to your neutral tabletop. Walk the hands a little bit forward so that the pelvis can start to come in one long line with the knees and the head. So a supported plank here with the knees down. We're just gonna do a couple little push-ups to start integrating the upper body. So when you exhale, pull the elbows down towards the hips, into the ribs, and then press into the hands. Keep the neck long, keep looking out in front of the fingers, lowering and lifting. So I just wanna get the upper body engaged here too, so that we can balance our whole body and find that center. Good, one more time. Take your time. Be curious about it. Dragging those shoulders down, pressing into the palms, and then pull the hips back to your child's pose. Just take a breath. Enjoy that pressure of the third eye into the floor. Roll up through the spine. Bring your hands onto the floor so you can tuck your toes under. And then lift your hips up, come into a forward fold at the back of your mat. So have the feet about hip width distance. You could fit about 2 fists between the arches of the feet, and then have the knees really bent here. So soften into it, really let the spine relax and drape over. The top of the head is reaching to the floor. You can have your hands on the floor on a prep, or if you like to bind the arms, you can reach the arms all the way behind you and then reach the hands through so the palms can come onto the front of the thighs right under the knees. So the armpits are coming towards the knees, knees towards armpits. And then we're locking the hands in front. Again, see if you can slow down your breath, close your eyes, and just observe. So we'll stay here for a moment. If it starts to feel like you're getting lightheaded, you can slowly stand up and come back into it. If it feels like the stretch is too intense in the spine, bend the knees more. Folding inward so that we can start to listen to ourselves a little bit more instead of get pulled outward. If you have the grip of the hand, slowly release one hand and bind the other direction so that your non-habitual hand is on top or on the bottom, just your non-habitual grip. Can you soften your weight into your feet a little bit more? So relax the front of the ankles, relax the knees, and relax the hips. Release the bind if you have it. Start to roll up through the spine, go slower than you want to. Use the core so that you're engaging the low abs to support you as you start to stack bone on top of bone. Head coming up last. Till you're in your mountain pose. Bring your weight into your left foot and pick up your right knee. Turn it out to the side for a tree pose so you can bring the foot onto any part of the inner leg as long as it's not on the knee, or just even propped down onto the floor if you don't want to challenge the balance too much. Make sure that the pelvis is still facing forward, so the knee that's turned out is going to be on a slight diagonal. Bring the hands to touch, and then bring the thumb to the third eye. Feel like you can lengthen up through the back of the neck, and the shoulders drop down from the ears. If you want, you can try closing your eyes. Just see what happens. Notice the weight rooting down into the left heel. If your eyes are closed, gently open them back up. Bring the hands down to the heart as you turn the knee forward and step it back down to the floor. Switching sides, bring the weight into the right foot. Lift the left knee and turn it out. Try to come to the same place that you did on the other side. If you have some kind of injury, you can always be different left to right. That's natural in our body, but try to challenge yourself to come to the same sort of balance. Bring the thumb in front of that third eye. Soften the vision from the other two eyes so you can start to tune inward. Maybe closing the eyes all the way. Imagine the spiraling energies helping you balance in the center. So those interweaving masculine and feminine all the way up the spine. You can think of it continuing down the right leg as well. So the knee is really pointing forward, the heel's rooting down into the ground, the toes are spreading. The breath is soft. And then open the eyes if they're closed, lower the hands to the heart, turn the knee forward and step the foot down. Now coming for our full Garudasana or eagle pose. Bend the knees, lift the arms. Let's come from a chair pose. Pull the abs in. Bring the weight into the left foot. Lift the right knee into the chest. Find that crunch. And then place the leg over the left thigh. You can just prop the toes down to the ground, have them out to the side, or cross all the way behind the calf. Swing the right arm under the left, bind the arms into a twist. The palms can come together, the backs of the palms can come together. If the balance is too much, you can always grab onto a wall to just really focus on the spiral through the limbs. Lift the elbows, drop the shoulders, soften the gaze. Slow down the breathing. Breathe into the side and back ribs. So the spine is getting longer, even though we aren't twisting the spine. How can these interwoven efforts of the limbs continue through the whole core, through the whole body? So this is our eagle pose, which is the perfect symbol for this chakra, the bird that watches from above, the command, that precision and clarity and vision. One more deep breath. See if you can sit a little bit lower. And press into the left foot, gently unwind. Step the feet next to one another. Unwind the arms. Inhale here. Exhale, sit down into your chair, lower the hips. Bring the weight into the right foot. Lift the left knee into the chest. Feel the engagement of the core first, and then cross the thighs over one another. Come to as deep of a twist with the legs as you want. And then spiral the left arm under the right. Bringing palms together, backs of palms together. Lift the elbows up. Stretch the upper back wide. See if you can relax the jaw a little bit more. Notice if you want to start turning one way or the next. So even though the arms and the legs are wrapping, the chest and the hips are still pointing forward. Can sit a little bit low. Beautiful. Great job, everybody. Finish your next breath cycle. Exhaling everything out. And then press into that standing foot. Unwind the limbs. Come back to your mountain pose. Close your eyes one more time. Take a breath. Take another breath, keep, keep breathing. Just observe. Observing without judging. Doing that kindness to yourself, to trust your intuition, your intelligence, your own guidance. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Then lower the hips all the way down to the ground. Make your way onto the mat. And bring your legs into a pinwheel position. So bring the right knee forward, the heel towards the pelvis, and the left foot behind you. So both knees are bent. The spine is nice and tall. And then turn towards that left leg just a little bit. And tip the spine over so the right hand can come down to the ground in front of you. You can bring the left hand onto the hip and relax the neck. You can stay right here in this really gentle spiral of the spine, stretching into the hips. Or if you want to go a little bit deeper, bring the right elbow to the sole of the right foot. Make a fist with the hand and press the palm of the left hand on top so that you can increase that depth of the spiral in the spine and get a little bit deeper stretch into the right hip. Wherever you are, let the head hang. Spread the toes. Scan through your body to notice what sensations arise. Gently start to come out of the pose, unlocking the hands and rolling up through the spine. I'm just going to switch to the other side so you can flip the knees over so that the left foot is in front and the right foot is behind. Bring the feet out so you're in a pinwheel position. The feet don't have to be too close to the hips. And then gently turn the chest towards that back foot, towards the right this time. And then tip the spine over so we can find that length first. Take your time to come into it because sometimes we lose our breath when we come into a deep spiral. So first, just find that left hand on the floor. This might be the depth that you want to come into today, or lower the elbow all the way down to that arch of the foot. Kind of walking into the foot. Make a fist with the bottom hand, flat top hand. Spread the elbows, spread the shoulders. Release the neck. Keep the feet active, nice and flexed, spreading those toes. See if you can observe not just the most intense sensations, but what follows that. Start to come out of the pose, unbind those hands, and lift the chest up, rolling up until you come to a tall spine. And then just come into a neutral seat. So you can bring the legs in front of you or tucked underneath you. You can sit up on something, whatever feels good for you. Now let's bring the hands in front of the chest and just rub them together. Start to build some heat between the hands. Shoulders are still nice and soft. Good, and then once you can feel that vibration really start to build, make gentle cups with the hands and bring them over the eyes. Bring your attention back to that midbrain. Slow down the breath. Slowly let the hands slip away from the face. And one more time, let's rub them together. And place them over your heart. Bow your head to your heart. Let your third eye thank your heart, your emotional center, and your heart center thank this brain center of intelligence and intuition. Thank yourself for your practice today, for tuning in with that intuition and intelligence, the clarity of observation. And thank you so much for letting me offer my thoughts today on this practice. It's such a wonderful moment to be able to be here with you guys. So thank you, thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday.